What if $500 arrived in your account every week, while you were doing something else entirely? Here is the reality that makes that worth taking seriously. According to a 2024 DollarSprout study covering over 115 million Americans with side income, 68% of side hustlers earn less than $500 per month from their extra work. Not per week, per month. And a 2025 SurveyMonkey workplace study found that 52% of those same people say the burnout from their side work is only worth it if they earn more than $500 per week. So most people are grinding for less than they need, in a way they cannot sustain, toward a number they never hit. There is a better model, and it does not require more hours. The difference between what most people do and what actually builds ghost income comes down to one structural distinction. Most extra income is active. You trade time for a payment, and when you stop, the income stops too. Ghost income is passive. You build something once, and that thing keeps generating revenue whether you are working, sleeping, or sitting at your kid's soccer game. The label ghost fits perfectly because the income appears without you being present. It operates in the background, quietly, week after week. And the behavioral science behind why most people never build it, even when they want to, is more revealing than any income strategy itself. Economists call the core obstacle present bias. It is the well-documented human tendency to overvalue immediate rewards and undervalue future ones, even when the future reward is dramatically larger. Daniel Kahneman's research into how people make decisions under uncertainty consistently shows that the brain discounts future outcomes steeply, meaning that the effort required to build something today feels disproportionately heavy relative to the payoff that feels far away. This is why someone will spend 4 hours a week delivering food for $40, immediate, guaranteed, tangible, rather than spend those same 4 hours building a digital asset that could produce $200 a week indefinitely. The brain treats the delivery payment as real and the future passive income as theoretical. Behaviorally, theoretical loses almost every time. Understanding that bias is the first step to working around it. The second step is choosing the right vehicle. And for most Americans in 2025, the vehicle with the lowest barrier and the highest scalability is digital products. Research published by multiple platform analytics sources in 2025 confirms that digital products carry 60 to 95% profit margins, require no inventory, no shipping, and no physical fulfillment. You create a product once, a template, a guide, a mini course, a system, a toolkit, and then sell it an unlimited number of times on platforms like Etsy, Gumroad, or Teachable without any additional labor per unit. The math is straightforward. A digital product priced at $35 that sells 20 times per week generates $700. That is more than $500 per week from a single asset, built once. Now here is where most people make the first mistake. They underestimate what they already know. Think about it this way. Every skill you use at work, every system you have figured out for organizing your life, every problem you have solved that took you weeks to crack, that knowledge has commercial value to someone who has not cracked it yet. A nurse who has built a system for managing shift schedules could sell that as a template. A teacher who has created an organized reading curriculum could sell it on Teachers Pay Teachers, a platform where some creators earn over 6 figures annually from downloadable lesson plans. A small business owner who figured out how to set up their bookkeeping in Google Sheets could package that as a template on Etsy. Etsy's own category data from 2025 shows that finance and productivity templates are among the platform's fastest-growing digital segments, with individual sellers regularly generating $300 to $1,000 per month from a single template listing that took a few hours to build. The second mistake people make is choosing complexity over consistency. They hear about passive income and immediately imagine building a full online course with video production, landing pages, and an email funnel. That is not where you start. Naval Ravikant, whose framework around permissionless leverage has shaped how a generation of independent earners thinks about wealth creation, argues that the power of media and code as income tools is precisely that they scale without permission, but they only compound if you actually start. A 3-page PDF guide that solves one specific problem and sells for $12 is infinitely more valuable than a full course you spend 6 months planning and never release. Start small enough that the upfront effort is something you can complete this month. Then iterate from there. Here is why the compounding piece matters more than most people realize. A digital product listed on a searchable marketplace like Etsy or Gumroad benefits from what is called evergreen demand. If your product title is optimized for what buyers are already searching, say, monthly budget tracker template or freelance contract template for beginners, the platform's search engine continues delivering buyers to your listing week after week, year after year, without any ongoing marketing from you. One study of Etsy digital sellers in 2025 found that top-performing listings regularly generated sales for 12 to 24 months after the initial upload with minimal updates. That is the compound interest of digital products. Your past effort keeps paying out into the future. The third mistake, and perhaps the most behaviorally fascinating, is what researchers call the planning fallacy applied to income building. People plan to build passive income streams at an abstract future time when they have more bandwidth, more energy, more clarity. That time structurally never arrives because busy lives do not create space on their own. You have to carve it. James Clear, whose research into habit formation in Atomic Habits documented how environment design shapes behavior, argues that the most powerful thing you can do for a new behavior is reduce the friction required to start it. In the context of ghost income, that means choosing one product type, one platform, and 1 week to build and list it. Not an elaborate system, just a single concrete output with a specific completion date. The realistic income trajectory for digital products, based on current platform data, looks like this. In the first 30 days, most sellers earn very little. The platform is still indexing your listing and your reviews are minimal. By months 3 to 6, sellers who have built 2 to 5 quality listings and priced competitively typically begin seeing consistent weekly sales. By the 12-month mark, sellers in non-saturated niches, personal finance tools, productivity systems, small business templates, educational resources, commonly report $100 to $500 per week from an established portfolio of 8 to 15 products. That is not guaranteed, and results vary widely, but the data supports it as achievable with consistent effort in the build phase. The key word is portfolio. 1 product is a start. 10 products is a system. So here is the concrete step for this week, and you can do this before next Saturday. Take 30 minutes and make a list of every problem you have solved in the last 2 years. At work, at home, financially, organizationally, professionally. Then search that exact problem on Etsy and Gumroad using keywords. If you see other sellers listing products in that space, that is not bad news. It is confirmation that buyers exist. Look at what is already selling. Note the average price range and the number of reviews, and identify one product you could build in 4 to 6 hours that is either more specific, better designed, or serves a slightly different audience than what already exists. Then build it. Upload it. Price it based on what comparable products charge, not below the market floor. And list it with a clear, keyword-rich title and a description that speaks directly to the buyer's problem. That one listing is the beginning of a ghost income portfolio that compounds over time. The income you are building is not urgent. It does not need to replace your job or your entire financial plan by month 2. What it needs to do is exist. Because the compounding dynamic that Morgan Housel describes so clearly in his writing about wealth, that most financial growth is invisible for years and then suddenly visible all at once, applies just as directly to passive income infrastructure as it does to investments. The people who are earning $500 a week today from digital products built their first product 3 years ago. The people who will be earning that in 3 years are building their first product right now. Every strategy we cover on Next Gen Finance is built around this same principle, that the behavioral shift comes before the financial result. If you want research-backed practical frameworks that actually connect to how your brain makes money decisions, subscribing means you get that delivered every time we publish. It is free, and it is the kind of financial education that does not require a tuition bill. What is one problem you have already solved in your life, at work, in your finances, in your daily routine, that you think other people are still struggling with? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, And your answer might become our next deep dive into the product category that could fund your next year. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial or investment advice. Please do your own research and consult a licensed financial professional before making any financial decisions.